All right, what is up, YouTube? I'm back once again, and definitely going to check out the market right now. I know you see the market's kind of topping out at 20,900. Usually we top out at 21,000, but now the resistance is definitely lowering us. So it looks like the market strength is definitely weakening. But if you're able to, go back and buy the XIV, you would definitely made some money. I bought 68, sold in the 70s. I want to do $2 a share. Wasn't really trying to force it here and there, but we're definitely going to check out the positions right now. My personal account, I still hold Square. I still hold Starbucks, and I hold Home Depot now. I was waiting on the pullback. I'll take this small pullback of Home Depot now, and we're just going to go through the positions here. We see AMD definitely still going up for us. APC still down. We see, the lows are about, I think, $50 or maybe 49ish, but now we're still climbing back up to the $60 level. We have Berkshire Hathaway still trying to climb up there. We see lows of 160 for last week. Chesapeake still down. Disney, is definitely falling down, but definitely finding strength somewhere here and there. But, Disney might go lower than 105, and I'll definitely tell you guys exactly why I think it's going back to 105. Home Depot 155. We see Honeywell definitely, having a stagnant trading range or a sideways trading range, not really moving out to the upside or breaking out to the upside. We have Lululemon back to 49. PLX, this is the penny stock. I want to show you guys exactly what happens when we invest in penny stocks. We have, Starbucks. I'm still, holding this thing long term. I still have a value of it of about, $90 because we're doing a $30 increment rule on that. We have, the triple Qs times the leverage, and we see we're up about $400 on that. Still doing pretty good. Twilio, like I said, we're long term on Twilio because we did buy, we are able to buy shares. We see CEO come in, buy shares. That's insider buying. The CEO bought shares, CFO bought shares at low prices about 24. I think low 24s or maybe low 23s. So we see oil definitely having an update for us, and also we see that we're turning positive for oil. We see exactly what's happening here. I told you guys that oil was definitely going to go up, and we see oil moving up on a big way. We see I was able to buy shares on oversold position, but oil it kept falling down. So I just kind of held because I knew it oversold, and also I knew driving season would kick back up, and now we're back at $18 a share. I was able to buy shares at $18. UWT dipped about $13 a share. We ran back up, and now we're back above $18. Look to go to 19, maybe even 20. So let's check out exactly what I'm talking about when I say the market might have a pullback. People are still, since Trump is overseas, there's really nothing to worry about, until he comes back. When he comes back, volatility should increase, like it was said on CNBC. You keep your ears to the street and filter out the news that you do need rather than news that you don't need, and that'll show you how to exactly be successful here. So we see definitely tops building back up. Daily moving average not being able to break out here for the Dow Jones ETF. So it's definitely another negative sign for us. So when we can't break the daily moving average, we see exactly what's happening here. We gap up, we gap down, filled the gaps right here, and exactly it looks like we're going to be sideways trading for a while, and it looks like we're at the top range of that sideways trading. So there's no upside for right now, and usually there's just downside from here. So we want to pay attention to that as well. You see the XIV take a huge dip, and we're able to plot that bottom perfectly at about 67.33, and now we see the stock rise back up to $77. So we see large bars piercing through a bunch of support here, follow support on the third tier, and bounce right back up, break out of two resistance levels, and now we're back at the resistance level, treating it as support, and we see the daily moving average is giving it a hard time for it to break out. With that being said, guys, pay attention to what you're reading. Also, I told you guys oil is going to go back to $60. We're not there yet. We're about $9 shy, but we do see that momentum is definitely picking back up for oil. As like I said before, let me go ahead and plot that $60 resistance line. Okay, I already plotted it before. $55 was our high for this year. Yeah, just about this year, and it looks like we're going to retest those highs, maybe even break out of here and hit $53 first, or maybe probably trading this range about $50 to $55. But it looks like the bullish. I would say the driving season is picking back up. A lot of oil and gas will be used over the summer, and we have to pay attention to that. Look long term. Don't be focused on short term things, because if you're focused on short term, you would have probably sold your oil right here rather than buying more oil positions rather than selling, and you probably made a lot more profit. As we see, the daily moving average broke out here from oil breaking down the daily moving average about 48.06. Bears will make a case that oil will go back down. We're getting to that overbought level, but right now oil is definitely having a pretty good run here. Um, you know, so let's check out Square. I was able to get shares in Square about 1996, I think it was, and now that's giving me $1 a share today. And we see that there's definitely bullishness going on for this stock. 21, the whole time this stock was ticking up, it was setting all-time highs. So that's definitely perfect for us. Also, $25 will be the next step for this stock. We see it break from $18 to $20 on those earnings. Now, with that being said, we can look at it from a $10 perspective, or we can go 10, 20, 30, 40, or maybe we can do $5 increments. So let's do $5 increments, because we see the move started at $15 and people were waiting for this thing to run back up. We see $15. We see it test that $18 high. Now we kind of consolidated here up to the next earnings here, and we kind of broke out on some really good results. So we needed to go ahead and test that high. So the stock, with this stock, it moves really early, and just like Take-Two Solutions, the stock moves early on earnings. So when an earnings call does approach, or when the earnings does approach, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the earnings is reported, the stock will probably move $3. And if if the report is not good enough for investors to like, that stock will get sent back down, and at $3 will be wiped out. So we have to pay attention to stocks that move early on earnings, because that might be a high flyer, but what it's really doing is trying to price in a good result and probably trying to make that move early. And this is when you have those eager investors trying to get into that stock just before earnings, because they think that something might happen. And and another thing that made me want to buy this stock right here, as we see the chalk and oscillator was definitely another sign. Rather than paying attention to RSI, I pay attention to the chalk and oscillator. We say downward momentum, and this will make me buy the stock on Friday, I think it was. And I bought shares around 1990s, and we see the chalk and oscillator showing upward momentum for the stock. And as we see, $21 is now the high for the stock. So we can pay attention to RSI, or we can pay attention to the chalk and oscillator, or like I said, the daily move average. Either one, we always want to make sure that we have a really good strategy going on when we do trade or invest, so that way we can have our eyes to the street, and pay attention to the stocks that actually move. So we see Berkshire Hathaway. We could have bought shares right here at 160-ish. I was getting a little greedy here. I wanted to get shares at about 160. I was thinking maybe it'd go lower, but it's really hard to find shares at 160-ish. So I was kind of stuck out in this rally here, and I really think the market might go lower when Trump comes back from overseas, and we're going to get those impeachment talks, or maybe, because Comey does, come back this week, and, we'll definitely see exactly, what they'll have, what that implement will have on the market. And typically, what we seen last time, the market almost sold off on 400 points on nothing really, just about politics. So, in that kind of market, when the air is being let out of the stocks, and I didn't see, those big mega cap stocks or Facebook, Apples, not really selling off, probably down about $3. Apple's down about $3 and sent it back to 150. So this was definitely not, a time for me to actually go ahead and say, okay, I want to buy Apple right here, because I see that Apple still has upward momentum, and I don't want to be in a stock that has upward momentum. And as we see right here, the stock is definitely coming down, so I guess we could say it has downward momentum. So we see daily moving average acting as pretty good support here. We kind of breached through that, but it's acting as pretty good support. So pay attention to daily moving average, because it does tell you a lot of things. When we do trade, when we do invest, we want to pay attention to all the indicators that we want to use, all indicators that make us successful. Even I know we want to pay attention to the charts, making profit first, but we also want to make sure that the company that we're investing in or trading in has an actual profit. So what I mean by that is, if you're trading a company that cannot make a profit, there won't be a lot of volume going on with that stock, especially if it's a stock past $10. People won't be interested in it, because they'll be more interested in shorting the stock rather than buying it, because the stock isn't really making any money. But if it has significant interest, for people to actually buy or trade the stock, that's typically where you will see the stock actually take a run. So with that being said, guys, that's all I have. I don't have really any positions right now that I really want to jump into. If I were to jump into a position, I would definitely sell, one of these stocks here. I know I'm negative on a couple positions here. We see Anadarko Petroleum definitely giving out their dividends sometime soon. Also, just negative on a lot of positions here, but those core positions, betting on the Nasdaq, we're up about $400 on that. UWTI, betting on oil. We're slowly progressing. Starting off with $200,000. Now we're at 216. So I am progressing. So like I said, anytime I buy a stock, I find it at a discount. Anadarko Petroleum, I know I bought the stock just before the earnings date, but we want to be aware of everything that's going on with the stock. So if you buy a stock and you don't know the stock is reporting earnings, I suggest you get out because you don't know what exactly that's going to entail. So Southwestern Energy will be probably a perfect example. So you could probably get in Southwestern Energy. This is SWN, right? We can get into the stock just before the earnings call and probably hope on a really good beat. But what people don't know is that historically, this stock right here usually surprises investors to the upside or downside. So with that being said, this is not a consistent company that has consistent beats. So with that being said, we want to do our history before the stock reports earnings. So anytime you see a stock looking good, it's probably too good to be true because investors are already pricing in a bad result. So if the company does deliver a bad result, worse than expected, the stock will go up. But if it's a bad result and it's a little bit better than expected, the stock will go back up. But we want to make sure that we're paying attention to the historical reactions to the stock. So we don't want to be betting on a stock that's going to move really volatilely, when it does report. So we see Southwestern Energy coming back down to $6.81. Downward momentum is still below here, but I think we can probably edge back up to this $8 range since the downward momentum is so low right here. But that'll probably be for a while here because oil and gas is still up. But like I'm saying, guys, we want to pay attention to every single thing that's going on in the market. Also, pay attention to those filings, those reports, those analysts. Upgrades, downgrades to the stock, because those are very important when you do look to trade a stock, because not only are you seeing it, but investors are big time investors are seeing it, and they are making their moves. Sometimes people make their moves according to how the article is written. So pay attention to that. Take care, guys.